David Mann just broke down in tears, y'all. And it ain't because of a Tyler Perry movie. Word on the gospel streets is Tamela Mann's voice, the same one that snatched souls and steamed Sunday greens, might be gone forever. And no, this ain't some I lost my keys and found Jesus kind of drama. We're talking potentially career-ending silence. Like, Take Me to the King might be taking its last lap, ever. But wait. Before you grab your choir robe and start a prayer circle, let's ask the question the label won't. What really happened to the Queen of Gospel's golden voice? Was it age? Was it exhaustion? Or was it sabotage by her own team, pushing her till her knees gave out and her mic went cold? Because y'all, insiders are whispering. Tamela can't stand, can't perform, and might never step on a stage again. And David Mann? He's allegedly broken, watching the woman he loves go from glory to gurney while the industry just keeps cashing checks. So if you think this is just another gospel break, oh baby, you're not ready for what we're about to uncover. Let's get into it. Y'all better sit down, because what we're about to spill ain't no praise break. It's a full-blown gospel breakdown. Imagine this. Tamela Mann, the same woman who could hit a high note and have your grandma shouting in the living room, now allegedly can't even walk to the mic, let alone sing into it. And David Mann? That man is holding back tears, not for a movie scene, but for his wife's collapsing career. You think this is dramatic? Honey, we're just warming up. Let's rewind. Tamela Mann, the voice behind Take Me to the King, the undisputed queen of Sunday gospel, the woman whose voice could baptize your phone through a Bluetooth speaker, is now facing a terrifying new reality. She may never sing again. You heard right. It's not her career on hold. It's her vocal cords, her legs, and possibly her life as a performer. And the saddest part? This didn't come from old age or a quiet retirement. Nah, this came from a dangerous cocktail of industry pressure, extreme weight loss, and what some insiders are calling a wellness cult disguised as gospel branding. Now, before y'all think this is another gospel rumor, let's talk facts, or at least leaked receipts so spicy they've got the internet sweating holy oil. Multiple insiders, backup singers, former stylists, and even one anonymous physical therapist are all whispering the same thing. Tamela's body is breaking down. We're talking bone-on-bone joint pain, vocal strain from overperformance, a rapid transformation that went from glow up to can't get up, and y'all, that transformation wasn't just about health, it was a business move. Her label allegedly crafted a full-blown rebrand. Slim Down Tamela, inspirational fitness content, sponsored wellness retreats, and yes, even a gospel diet cookbook. But behind all those filtered selfies and detox teas was a woman reportedly barely able to stand, her legs screaming louder than her fans. And the worst part? David Mann allegedly begged the team to slow down the schedule and was ignored. That's right. The same man who's been by her side through every chart-topping hit, every stage performance, every family gospel sitcom moment, watched helplessly as his wife was pushed harder than a revival altar call. And when she started losing her voice, they told her to lip sync until further notice. Lip sync? This ain't pop, it's gospel. And yet, fans started noticing. Shorter sets, fewer live vocals, more inspirational speeches, and less singing, one fan posted. She testified more than she sang at the last concert, and even that sounded rehearsed. Then came the real heartbreak. According to a leaked studio memo, a vocal producer flagged Tamela's last recording session as a critical failure, noting, her pitch control had collapsed, her throat was extremely inflamed, her breathing was labored beyond performance readiness. Another insider claimed the engineer had to digitally stretch her notes just to make it sound like she could still belt. And as if that wasn't enough, there's a recording, a leaked snippet from a sound check, showing Tamela struggling to finish a line, coughing mid-verse, breathless, asking for warm salt water, and just 5 more minutes, she never made it back to the mic. But instead of calling off the tour, they turned up the lights and turned down her mic. That's when the dam started cracking. Gospel fans, usually silent, loyal, and all about grace, started whispering. Reddit threads popped up. Hashtags like #LetTamelaRest and #TamelaNeedsTime started trending. But her team? They doubled down. posting pre-recorded worship clips, filtered vacation pics, cryptic captions like, "In God's hands, we rise stronger." But let's be real, this wasn't rest. This was damage control. One anonymous dancer from the wellness tour, yep, that tour, said Tamela couldn't climb the tour bus steps without assistance. They had to create a side ramp and a backstage cot, y'all, not for beauty rest, but for pain management. Even more shocking, her vocal coach, a woman only known by the alias Sister T, reportedly quit mid-tour, claiming, "They're burning her voice out like it's an incense stick for profits." She left a voicemail for another client that got leaked, saying, "This ain't gospel. This is greed dressed in a choir robe." And guess who allegedly tried to silence Sister T? The label. According to her cousin, they offered her a confidentiality bonus, a spot on a new gospel talent show, if she'd walk back her statement she refused. Now, let's pivot to the real tea, the medical situation. Sources say Tamela's right leg has suffered advanced cartilage collapse and nerve damage due to prolonged stress and undernutrition. Worse, her vocal cords are at 30% capacity. That means she can barely hum, let alone hit a choir-splitting high note. A nurse working in the Buckhead facility leaked a note that simply read, "Recommend full vocal rest. High risk of permanent silence if strained again." Permanent silence. Let that marinate. The woman who led millions in worship may now be led off stage, not by choice, but by injury. And still, the machine keeps spinning. But this ain't just a health crisis. It's a gospel industry horror show. Allegedly, her label continues to post AI-enhanced vocals to maintain brand momentum, meaning what you're hearing on some clips may not even be Tamela anymore. And the churches? They stayed quiet. That's right. The same megachurches who once had her headlining altar calls are now MIA. Not a peep. Not a prayer. Not even a get-well-soon flower arrangement. But one gospel blogger said it best. They praised her when she sang. Now that she's silent, so are they. And somewhere in the middle of all this chaos, David Mann, devastated, drained, and allegedly ready to speak out, but trapped behind NDAs, contracts, and what one insider called the thickest PR lockdown in gospel history. You thought this video was wild? Baby, grab your communion juice and sit all the way down, because we're diving straight into the ugliest part of this gospel soap opera, the cover-up. And yes, the lies are thicker than a church mother's. Sunday wig. We're talking leaked voicemails, deleted diagnosis files, a team so shady they could pass for a solar eclipse. This isn't just a medical emergency. It's a full-blown conspiracy stitched together with holy hashtags and contracts written in choir robes and blood. Let's start with the voicemail that blew the roof off the fake testimony tent. A leaked voice note, allegedly from Dr. Jackie, the gospel world's unofficial fix-it queen, has been circulating like contraband in a church parking lot. In the clip, Dr. Jackie can be heard, clearly shaken, whispering, "If they keep pushing her like this, we're looking at vocal destruction, possibly permanent. She shouldn't even be speaking, let alone singing. I can't be part of this sin." Now, pause. Dr. Jackie isn't some TikTok herbalist or crystal-holding health coach. She's the same woman who stitched up 3 gospel greats, treated 2 megachurch bishops for stress-induced strokes, once canceled a stadium hymn mid-service when a lead vocalist's blood sugar dropped. If she's scared, we all should be. And yet, Tamela's team kept pushing the narrative that everything was just fine. One Instagram post even said, "Sis is taking time to reflect in God's peace. Expect big things soon." Big things. Her lungs were giving out, and they're teasing a surprise EP? Make it make sense. Meanwhile, back at the Buckhead Rehab Center, insiders were spilling more tea than the youth choir at Sunday brunch. One physical therapist, going by the alias Psalm Snoop, claimed that Tamela was undergoing nerve regeneration therapy, a process typically reserved for stroke victims and severe trauma patients. According to them, Tamela needed 2 aids just to sit upright. She could barely hum a melody without sharp pain. And guess what else? Her team had allegedly set up a fake spa suite within the rehab center, complete with candles, crystals, and cameras. Why? To stage wellness retreat content for her Instagram. That's right. While Tamela was hooked up to machines, they were out here filming self-care Saturday promos, with her feet wrapped in blankets and her face edited smoother than a buttered pew. Let that sink in. But it gets nastier. A whistleblower leaked internal label emails with the subject line, "Marketing strategy, resilience and redemption." Key highlights: avoid words like rehab or surgery. Lean into rejuvenation and sabbatical. Promote upcoming product line. Sing against smoothies and faith detox drops. If necessary, use vocal dubs for planned TV appearances. We need a recovery arc. Fans love a comeback.
Phew.
A recovery arc? Sis is barely breathing, and they're plotting a comeback montage? And just when you think this can't get more theatrical, here comes the social media misfire heard, round gospel Twitter. A now-deleted tweet from David Mann Jr., as account said, "Sometimes the storm is just part of the testimony. Stay tuned for something big from Mama Mann. Hashtag faith or faded." Big? The only big thing going on was Tamela's rising medical bills and the size of her painkiller prescription. And this isn't even the worst of it. Let's talk about the deleted diagnosis. A nurse, who only goes by Nurse Revealed, dropped the biggest gospel bombshell of the year on Reddit. Someone allegedly accessed Tamela's medical file from a non-approved IP address. Their mission? To scrub anything that showed long-term vocal damage.
You read that right.
Someone logged in and wiped the truth clean, removing flags like vocal fold atrophy, cartilage erosion, intensive voice rest required. And guess what replaced them? A neat little update that said, "Patient showing signs of minor strain, responding well to rest."
Lies.
And the timeline of the edit? Just hours before her team dropped that "Healing in His Hands" devotional post, which featured old footage of Tamela singing softly while gazing out a window. The caption? "Some voices never fade." Except they do. And hers might be gone for good. Now let's shift gears to the industry vultures. Because they smelled opportunity the second Tamela hit the earth. Sources say her label fast-tracked a documentary called Whispers of a Warrior, the Tamela Mann story, with exclusive behind-the-scenes content. Even though Tamela wasn't awake enough to approve it, producers reportedly asked David Mann's cousin to film a clip titled "I Still Believe" at her hospital bedside while she was sedated.
You read that right.
The woman couldn't speak for herself, so they tried to speak through her body. And how did David Mann respond? Well, he didn't. He's been radio silent. Not a single post, not a single statement. Insiders say he's been locked into an updated contract that forbids him from discussing Tamela's real condition unless pre-approved by the label. And the icing on the blasphemous cake? He allegedly received a brand new Escalade as part of that silence agreement. So while Tamela lies in silence, the machine keeps moving. Now let's talk numbers. According to one gospel finance tracker, Tamela's image has generated over $4 million in revenue in the last 6 months alone, even though she hasn't performed live once.
How?
Old footage, re-edit to look new. Automated worship playlists stuffed with bonus verses. Product endorsements she never approved. And the most controversial of all, vocal AI renderings used to complete collaborations she didn't finish before her collapse. Yes, AI. The same folks who once rebuked the devil are now out here using robots to sing gospel in Tamela's name, just to keep the money rolling in. If that ain't prophecy gone rogue. And what about her fans? They're fed up. TikTok's on fire with stitched videos, side-by-side comparisons, and duets where people are literally whispering, "Where's the real Tamela Mann?" The hashtag whereas Tamela just crossed 2 million views. And no one from the label is answering questions. One gospel influencer even posted a video, in full choir robe, weeping and screaming. "Y'all had her shouting in the church. Now she can't shout for help. You sold her anointing for album streams." Mic dropped. And remember Sister T, the vocal coach who walked away? She's since gone live, dropping the realest truth of all. She didn't just lose her voice, she lost her choice. Her label chose silence over safety. But I won't. Erase my reports? This wasn't a misunderstanding. This was malpractice. And guess who else just got served? David Mann Jr. Yep. Tamela's own son is reportedly facing a cease and desist letter, not from trolls or bloggers, but from Tamela's former legal guardian during her first hospitalization stint.
Why?
Because that faith over fatigue hoodie line allegedly used Tamela's likeness without consent.
You heard right.
They claim he used old performance footage, edited voiceovers, repurposed backstage photos to sell his merch line while she was unconscious. And the final straw? That walk by faith even if it hurts to walk mug. That single mug triggered a firestorm online with fans and even industry peers, calling it blatant exploitation. One gospel artist posted, "You don't monetize your mama's pain. You pray through it." But it's not just merch and medical fraud, it's also money laundering allegations. According to documents leaked by a disgruntled former accountant from Tamela's label, a wellness partnership fund was allegedly used to funnel over $3.2 million into ghost companies, including one that sold expired supplements, another that sponsored Tamela's fake detox retreats, a third owned by a shell LLC registered under the name D. Mann Holdings LLC. Now, I'm no prophet, but D. Mann sounds mighty familiar. This fund allegedly paid for fake testimonial videos, AI-assisted vocal overdubs, flushers partnerships, who pretended to be healed by the same detox plan Tamela never used, and wait for it, staged interviews from a recovery suite Tamela never stepped foot in. So while Tamela was recovering in a dark, quiet hospital wing, her name was being used to bankroll fraud, fantasy, and false hope. One source even said she was the face of a miracle and the victim of a money scheme. Now, what about David Mann's cousin? Insiders now claim he's not just bound by a contract, he's being watched. That's right. One anonymous team member said they installed monitoring software on his personal devices after he tried to leak Tamela's real medical photos to the press.
You read that right.
Tamela's own husband allegedly tried to speak the truth, and instead, they locked him down with non-disclosure clauses, luxury perks, a media gag order so tight it makes a choir corset look loose. Meanwhile, the fans? They're done being silent. After the AI voice scandal broke, where auto-tuned, robotic renderings of Tamela were allegedly used to complete a live performance set in Dallas, the internet erupted. TikTok influencers stitched the fake footage side by side with Tamela's original vocals, pointing out glitches, pitching inconsistencies, and obvious lip-sync errors. One video titled #AI Tamela vs. Real Tamela racked up over 2.3 million views in 24 hours. Now, hashtags like #JusticeForTamela, #WhereIsTamela, and #LetHerSing are flooding every platform. Petitions are circulating, demanding a public statement from the label, an independent medical investigation, a moratorium on all gospel tours using her name or image, and get this, even church leaders are starting to speak out. One megachurch pastor, previously